Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel again. Today we are going to be reacting to Candace Owens once again regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Alright, so as you know, I've been reacting to all this series by Candace Owens regarding the investigation on this case, and this is the last video that I missed to react, and let's get it started.
All right, happy Thursday, everybody. And I'm serious. You should be happy and you should be merry because the tapestry is unraveling, right? I mean,
By the way, the title is Insanity. Guess who Kash Patel sent to investigate Charlie Kirk's assassination, episode 247. So this one, I presume, alright, I presume that Kash Patel was sending someone who is considered funny to, to investigate this incident. It's not supposed to be this guy, but this is what I feel. This is what I feel, okay?
there has been an extremely carefully woven tapestry of deception in all of our lives. And I think that Charlie Kirk's assassination, while of course it was a tragedy, has also worked to awaken the world to a deeper evil, something more sinister that sits below. So today we are going to talk about the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, because suddenly Kash Patel wants to distance the feds from them. I don't really think that's possible, and I'm wondering why he chose yesterday to do that. Plus, we received a few tips regarding the woman who is missing from the footage, and while we certainly cannot confirm that it's actually this individual, we do find the fact that she gave a public testimony to be pretty interesting. What she says is interesting. Also, what she does for a living is even more interesting. Our witness tree grows. Welcome back to Candace.
Okay, this is gonna be crazy, guys. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, I need you guys locked in because things are becoming increasingly interesting, okay? Yesterday, the FBI made a rather curious announcement. They announced that they were going to cut ties with the ADL, right? You know what the ADL is, the Anti-Defamation League. And the reasons, well, because they had listed Charlie Kirk and his organization, TPUSA, to be extremist. Everybody's an extremist according to the ADL. But I want you guys to know that this is not a subtle announcement. We need to unpack this announcement because I don't care what side of the aisle that you are on, you need to understand that the ADL is not, nor has it ever been, what it purports to be, okay? Purports to be, oh, you know, we're just looking out and hate speech and extremism. No. The reality is the ADL was born out of a Jewish Freemason organization known as B'nai B'rith. Now, if you're on my book club, you know this, but Sigmund Freud was a member of B'nai B'rith. We were discussing, we're reading right now the book, The Assault on Truth, and Sigmund Freud is very relevant. You have to learn the history of Sigmund Freud. He's in all of our schools, all of our universities, taught as a hero, the history of the psychoanalytic movement. Look, the reality is him and all of his homies were covering up for incestuous child abuse. That is a fact, okay? They can't wipe that stain away. Quite literally, the way that they did this was through the mechanism of gaslighting. That quite literally incestuous child abuse.
Wait. Hold on.
The reality is him and all of his homies, analytic movements. Look, the reality is him and all of his homies were covering up for incestuous child abuse.
Incestuous. Let me check. Incestuous. Incestuous. I think it's supposed to be something about siblings, right? Incestuous. And resistant to outside influence. To a small insular group that is excessively close and resistant to outside influence. Resistant to outside influence. Why? Why resistant to outside influence? Insular is ignorant. Oh. Hmm. Close and okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Understand. Okay. Oh.
Fact, okay? They can't wipe that stain away. Quite literally, the way that they do this, look, the reality is him and all of his homies were covering up for incestuous child abuse. That is a fact, okay? They can't wipe that stain away. Quite literally, the way that they did this was through the mechanism of gaslighting. That's what he is the father of, public gaslighting, okay? That's what modern psychology is. They moved to instead diagnose people who were being abused, right? They were using their credentials, I'm a this, I'm a that, to make people, maybe the wider public, believe that their gaslighting was actually legitimate. That is what the book, The Assault on Truth, unpacks. It is therefore a must read because you have to realize how horrific the crimes were that were being committed that they were covering for. So Sigmund Freud was 18, and this is the American South. You know what was going on there. And Mary Fagan was a 13-year-old girl who worked at his pencil factory. She was found brutally raped. Okay, she's a Catholic girl, by the way. I want to say that. She was a young Catholic girl. And Leo Frank, even with all of his money, all of his connections, the best lawyers that money could buy, connections all the way to the Supreme Court, he was so guilty of what happened that despite the fact that he tried to pin it on a poor Black janitor, even in the segregated South, where people were just like, hey, give us any reason and we will go lynch a Black person, the racist segregated South, they still found him guilty, okay? They still found Leo Frank guilty. And so much has been written to try to obscure this still. They are still trying to defend Leo Frank. What happened then is that his buddies over at the Freemasonic Lodge, B'nai B'rith, assembled the ADL to gaslight the public. No, Leo Frank wasn't guilty. Look what happened after. He was lynched for what he did to Mary Fagan. He is actually a victim of anti-Semitism. That's it. He wasn't guilty. I'm sure maybe the Black guy did it in 1913 Atlanta, and everyone conspired to instead attack a wealthy factory owner. Like I said, to this day, they are using those mechanisms to try to gaslight us and to pretend that Leo Frank was really the victim in this tragedy. It's utterly demented. I will never let it stand. He killed Mary Fagan. He is still guilty of that crime, no matter how much the ADL tries to obscure that. And by the way, if you want to learn more, you should learn more about Mary Fagan's murder. I can point you guys, there's a book called The Murder of Little Mary Fagan, and it is written by a relative of hers. And that relative's name is also Mary Fagan. You should read the details of what happened 100 years ago. You should read the facts around it, read the case documents, learn about the brutal rape and the murder and what happened thereafter, because so much has been written since to try to obscure those facts. So go to the family member as a source. Do that in your own spare time. In fact, maybe I should add it to the book club list. Anyways, the reason why I'm telling you that is because there is it really is a very crucial element of our history that you need to come to terms with, right? The modern media machine, all of these journalists who lie and gaslight, you're seeing it right now, what they're writing about me, it's insane. They are students of effectively the psychoanalytic community. Let's gaslight and then we will diagnose. Gaslight and diagnose. Seeing it happen in real time pertaining to the Charlie Kirk case. Gaslight and then we will diagnose. Gaslight and diagnose. Seeing it happen in real time pertaining to the Charlie Kirk case. We watched him be murdered, and then we watched the feds lie to us rather fanatically. The text messages, I think, were really the what is going on. And now they're yelling at us for noticing. We're all being abused right now by the press, right? They're trying to spin it. No, I can't believe people have questions. The conspiracies are so bad. These text messages were totally legit. Anybody who wants to investigate it further crazy. Oh, just totally crazy. We're all clinically insane. We should probably consult a physician. How dare we? It's inappropriate. Candace, they always say this, she must be suffering from postpartum psychosis. Okay, whatever you want to call the thing is that I'm suffering from when you watch your friend catch a bullet in the neck, you can call it that. Diagnose it if you need to. Anyways, you guys, the time has come for us to wake up. Now, it should unnerve you with that little bit of history that despite their well-documented founding, the ADL is so powerful of an organization that they have been directing the FBI for years, okay? They label people who tell the truth extremists. They put them on a list. I think it effectively works as a hit list. And then they direct and work with the FBI in partnership to go after those extremists, okay? That is a very weird relationship, a strange relationship, an immoral relationship, and a corrupt relationship. Now, I want you to know that I learned that recently, last year, that both the left and the right work with the ADL. Okay, there was this lie that's told publicly. I believed it, that it's just the left. It's all left leaning. No. They work with both the left and the right. The neocons on the right side work arm in arm with the ADL and feed them names, primarily of anyone, I should say, who is an enemy to the state of Israel. So currently you have Trump people who I guess are trying to save face for their remarkable lack of curiosity as it pertains to who assassinated Charlie Kirk, who loved them and worked did whatever he could to support their administration. They're trying to save face and pretend that they're upset, like, oh, we're going to do something. It's not okay that this happened.
Guys, honestly, what do you think? I feel it's weird that after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you can see the politicians, especially, they are not really putting much effort into investigating this case. Like, you can see the memorial, but who is actually investigating? Besides Candace Owens, I can see some military guys, like the YouTubers that actually broke down the shot, the direction of the shot, etc. And who else is actually doing this? Except FBI, the one that actually lied and is lying to us right now. Guys, I want to know your opinion. Comment down below. Let me know, okay? Let's go. Continue.
Look over here, right? Oh, look over here. The ADL put Charlie Kirk on a list. Now that he's dead, we demand post-justice. And Kash Patel is doing that. He's acting right now. He's pretending that he's delivering some form of justice. I think Elon Musk tweeted about Charlie Kirk.
Hold on, let me check.
ADL put Charlie Kirk on. And look over here, right? Something. It's not okay that this pretend that they're upset, like, oh, to support their administration. They're trying to and worked very as it pertains to who assassinated Charlie Kirk, who loved them and worked did whatever he could to support their administration. They're trying to save face and pretend that they're upset, like, oh, we're going to do something. It's not okay that this happened. Look over here, right? Oh, look over here. The ADL put Charlie Kirk on a list. Now that he's dead, we demand post-justice. And Kash Patel is doing that. He's acting right now. He's pretending that he's delivering some form of justice. I think Elon Musk tweeted about Charlie Kirk and TPUSA being on the list, and then it kind of caught fire, and this became the new conservative talking point. The ADL must pay for that. And sure enough, the FBI director, Kash Patel, announced yesterday that this is over. Yes, the ADL was training FBI agents and sharing intelligence in partnership with the FBI. The FBI and the ADL had a partnership sharing intel. They were training agents, and he says no more. Okay, he wrote this in a tweet. James Comey wrote love letters to the ADL and embedded FBI agents with them, a group that ran disgraceful ops spying on Americans. That era is over. The FBI won't partner with political fronts masquerading as watchdogs.
Wait, hold on. let me try to process these words. James Comey, who is that, wrote love letters to ADL and embedded FBI agents with them. A group that ran disgraceful ops spying on Americans. This era is over. This FBI won't partner with political fronts masquerading as watchdog. This FBI won't partner. So he is opposing James Comey, is it? Because James Comey actually wanted to work with ADL and Kash Patel doesn't want it.
Now, if you're on the right, you're supposed to go, yay, justice served. If you're on the left, you're maybe going to be happy that the ADL responded very graciously to this. They issued a statement immediately. They said, as we prepare to observe the holiest day of the year on the Jewish calendar, I don't know, that's just like, I guess they're a victim somehow. We have seen the statement from the FBI Director Patel regarding the FBI's relationship. ADL has deep respect for the Federal Bureau of Investigation and law enforcement officers at all levels across the country who work tirelessly every single day to protect all Americans, regardless of their ancestry, religion, ethnicity, faith, political affiliation, or any other point of difference. In light of an unprecedented surge of anti-Semitism, we remain more committed than ever to our core purpose to protect the Jewish people. You should know that all of that you just heard, okay, is BS, okay? It's slave slop. We are the slaves, and they are serving us slop right now. The illusion that things are changing, the illusion that it's left versus right, or that it's Jewish Americans versus everybody else. Hey, Jewish Americans, if you're watching this, you want to wake up. The ADL is not your friend at all. They don't care.
Hold on, let me check this. Oh, dude, I just know it's actually this thing, man. Guys. An academy. Come on, dude.
Care about what happens to you up to the ADL is not your friend. Everybody else. Hey, Jewish Americans, if you're watching this, you want to wake up. To the ADL is not your friend at all. They don't care about what happens to you. If you need more proof, you should know that they curiously removed the Azov battalion. They're carving swastikas on their head. Ukrainians murdering people. They removed them from the hate list. Candace Owens is on there, though. I'm sure you guys go to bed and you're worried about Candace Owens and not the people that are carving freaking swastikas on their head and murdering people, okay? They don't care. That's all. This is all just slop. Left versus right illusion, whatever it is. But the more important question that I want to get to is why now? Why are they putting on this performative bit right now? Well, yesterday, I made an offhand remark about right now. Well, why now? Why are they putting on this performative bit right now? Well, yesterday, I made an offhand remark about the ADL and the FBI sharing an office in Connecticut. Now, I know this because I'm from Connecticut, so there's no way to try to obscure that fact. Back in 2023, actually, a Catholic investigator revealed this and shared it. He addressed it in a series of tweets. Kyle Undercover wrote, I gathered property records for the 19 different states that the ADL has a regional office established. The report reveals that in the state of Connecticut, the ADL shares an office space with the FBI. They also share an office space with the United Nations in New York. Now, same building across the hall, whatever. In New York now.
Wait. They share an office space with the United Nations in New York?
FBI. They also share an office space with the United Nations in New York. Now, same building across the hall, whatever. That's a fact. And it makes sense. You shouldn't be that shocked when they're owning the fact that they share information. It's easier to share information if you're sharing an office space, right? Anyways, he goes on and he writes, after reviewing the 19 ADL offices, we can see an alarming trend. 63% of the ADL's regional offices are located within various banking institutions. 42% are located within various law firms, ranging from immigration to criminal law. You should keep that in mind for what we're going to talk about later on the show. And 10% are located in Jewish institutions. So you get the point. Why am I telling you this? Because after I made that offhand remark yesterday, I received a rather stunning tip, which I have been able to corroborate, that out of all of the FBI boroughs in the United States, regarding which there are 55 main boroughs and over 350 satellite boroughs, the FBI sent the specific Connecticut borough down to UVU after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. To help investigate the assassination, 50 satellite boroughs, the FBI sent the specific Connecticut borough down to UVU after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. To help investigate the assassination, okay, let's just look at the map again. They decided to go upwards on the East Coast and to send the field office from that borough to UVU. I'm wondering why they did that. I'd like an answer. We're probably not going to get it. We're not getting answers in anything. I wonder what moved them to send that particular borough, okay, down to UVU. It just feels like you got a lot around you, a lot of options. It wasn't exactly like necessary for you to do that. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, and yeah, that person provided proof. They said we are 1,000% certain. I said I'm going to need to see proof. Unbelievably, I'd like to know why they did that. Right. I'd like to know why suddenly now Kash Patel is making a strong statement against the ADL. All of that just feels a little too close to comfort. And by the way, how do you separate when you're just across the hall? Let's just think that you guys are not speaking to each other anymore. Are we supposed to be this dumb? Okay. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Wanted to share that. Okay. Anyways, jumping back into more oddities that occurred on that day, despite having these federal agents from Connecticut. Now, I have presented to you just thus far, right, that a lot of these witnesses that immediately spoke out to say, here's what happened, here's how many shots, here's what I heard, that they had strange connections to the government or like weren't from UVU at all, were coming from overseas, didn't really make sense. I was trying to understand that. And yesterday, of course, we were trying to figure out who was this mysterious woman that was allegedly seen helping the shooter change clothes. I got that one tip from an individual, completely unrelated, said, yes, there was footage of a person helping the shooter change clothes. And then suddenly we were able to discern, at the very least, that someone in the Broderick Lyman family certainly acknowledges that there was a woman, at the very least, who she suspected could have been an accomplice. She didn't say anything about the person changing clothes, but we can watch that clip again to hear what she says.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
Okay, so we received a couple of tips pertaining to who that woman might have been, according to rumors circulating around Orem. Now, I want to be very clear. When we say that this is a rumor, I mean that you should take this information with a grain of salt. We cannot present it at face value because we don't have the footage, right? I cannot say this is a fact. I can say that this lead became more interesting to me and that the FBI should clarify things. It's that simple. Let us see all the footage. But they don't seem even remotely interested in trying to help us clarify anything. Anyways, the name that we had received was, it turned out, somebody that actually provided the only eyewitness testimony of having seen the shooter up close, limping. So it's possible, just to run the other side of things, that this woman captured both of them walking back to back and she just was walking near him and she had nothing to do with helping him change. That's all possible, and you should consider that possibility. We don't have answers. But there's something else that's interesting about her. Like I said, the testimony that she provided is interesting, and she is the only person that saw the shooter limping up close. And her name, and we know this because she spoke to the news, they all did, is Olivia Robertson Cobb Bishop. Let's listen to her testimony now.
I kind of realized the type of street I was on, a little bit more secluded, you know.
Olivia Bishop retraces her steps where she came face to face with Charlie Kirk's alleged killer.
Just looking over, seeing that he was limping, kind of being like, oh, okay. And then long black shirt, kind of thinking that's kind of weird. It's kind of super hot outside.
Bishop says something seemed a little off.
I did look over at him and he was kind of like that was his face, just kind of like not a smile or anything.
From the expressionless demeanor, long sleeve shirt during a hot summer day, to the limp.
It's kind of odd. I don't know. Like, now that I think about it, it's just very, like, chilling to me.
Chilling after reading charging documents online and seeing this video of Robinson walking away from UVU after Kirk was shot. That's when she realized she'd been only feet away from the accused killer. Now she questions whether she could have done more.
Had I seen the imprint of a rifle down his leg, if I had looked at him a little longer, then immediately after that happened, would I have thought back to him, you know? And been able to like alert authorities quicker.
Bishop realizes there's nothing she could have done differently.
But just to have been like an eyewitness to him on his way there is just shocking to me.
I gotta say, when I saw that, I was actually kind of giddy because I was like, finally, it looks like a college student from UVU who is speaking to the news. That's great. And of course, I then had to wonder what she was studying. And it turns out, no, she doesn't go to UVU. I don't know. A lot of these people were not available that day. But what she does for a living is quite interesting because there's an emerging pattern. And for whatever reason, nobody who spoke to the press said what their connections were. It turns out that she works for the Orem Police Department. She's a record specialist. And I should tell you guys, kind of unbelievably, in August, if you're going to believe this, they kind of lost a lot of people that were working at the department. There's a Facebook post.
Okay.
People that were retiring, a lot of changes that were happening. I don't know when she started working there, but she works at the Orem Police Department, and we're hearing a lot of stuff about some plausible corruption that might be going on there. And I just said, wow, okay. Curiously, she also purports to be a close witness to when Charlie got shot. And I'm wondering if you work for the Orem Police Department, purports to be a close witness to when Charlie got shot. And I'm wondering if you work for the Orem Police Department, what were you doing going to a Charlie Kirk event in the middle of the day? Like, assuming that's a full-time job, Charlie spoke on a Wednesday. What were you doing there at all, actually? Is this like the longest lunch break ever? Meeting up with some friends, she says. Meeting up with some friends, okay. Another thing that we were able to learn is that she met up with her husband. Like, how are all of these people just allowed to leave work to hear Charlie Kirk speak? I'm interested. So I reach out, obviously, today, called the records office. Sent her a text. We were able to find her number. She doesn't want to speak about anything. She says that was it. She just wanted to speak right there, give her testimony, and that she gave the appropriate information to the appropriate authorities. So that there, beyond that, is just going to be a dead end. But I'd like to take a broader look at our witness tree because it's growing, right? It's growing, our witness tree. We've got Tiffany Barker, of course, because it's growing, right? It's growing, our witness tree. We've got Tiffany Barker, of course. She's with the nieces. Her sister was Phil Lyman's running mate. She spoke to Good Morning America in the wee hours of the morning after. Phil Lyman, of course, our guy, he really does not like me at all. He wants me to know that he thinks I'm shady, that I'm an accomplice to something. He ran for Utah governor in 2024. He's featured George Zinn on his website at that time, spoke to Alex Jones, Fox News, News Nation, really anybody that would have him. Now we have Olivia Bishop. She works for the Orem Police Records Specialist.
Sister was Phil Lyman's running mate. Okay. Sister was. It means Tiffany Barker's sister was Phil Lyman's running mate. Okay.
And yeah. She works as the Orem Police Records Specialist, and she spoke to local news. Who else do we have here? Well, let me show you this other video, which gets interesting, okay? Check out this USA Today video of people speaking about what they heard and what they saw. Take a listen.
It sounds like lightning. It was so loud, I thought the shooter was right there in the crowd. And apparently he wasn't. Apparently he was far off. Everybody got down, and I instantly just started praying for Charlie Kirk. And the girl I was with next to, she was bawling because she had seen it. She had seen the graphic imagery of the bullet piercing his neck and opening his neck up, and I can't imagine what it was like to see that.
I actually was just walking up. I was going to the event with a friend, and so I was in the back of the crowd still walking to get closer when I heard the pop of a gunshot and people started screaming and running. So I took a knee, just out of habit from being in the Marine Corps, and people were still screaming and running, and I just decided to look for the shooter wherever they might be. But people just kept clearing out.
Basically, I just heard a shot, and I saw him falling towards the left, so I knew he got shot on the collarbone or the neck right here, but I didn't see bleed immediately. I just saw and I heard, and we all crouched down, and I wish there was a better security. I was a little surprised when I walked into the courtyard and there wasn't any metal detector. There were securities around the building, but it wasn't really solid.
Okay.
There were securities around the building, but it wasn't really solid.
Okay, so to show you who those individuals are, a lot of software engineers, we can pull back up Emmanuel Urier. You saw his name there again. We're pulling people that spoke to the press publicly. We're not revealing any information here, but he works for Domo Incorporated. His history is that he is a software engineer, a technical advisor. His name is German in origin. I'd like to know a little bit more. Also, when I look up these people, by the way, none of them have reached out to me. Like from the minute that this all happened, I asked for information. And for whatever reason, these people were very anxious to speak to the press right after. But then we're like, you know what? We're not gonna speak to anybody else about that. Same for Gurneau owner. We covered this. He was with Phil Lyman's nephew, cousin. We learned was a software engineer from Austria. So Austria, Germany. Okay. Featured in Shaner's Instagram. And that guy, Scott Robbins, that you saw looking like a college kid, well, he was also a gubernatorial candidate. He ran for governor of Utah in 2024. Nobody to a gubernatorial candidate.
Why?
He ran for governor of Utah in 2024. Nobody mentioned this. I guess all of these USA Today or AP, nobody asked them like who they were, if they were college students. And for whatever reason, everybody that they spoke to wasn't that. We will continue to grow this witness tree. Robbie Hild, we've put a TBD on because we're getting crazy information on him. We're calling him Mr. Worldwide over here. Okay, we've got Robbie Hild in the Cayman Islands. We've got Robbie Hild in Spain. We've got Robbie Hild all over. And so that's going to take some time. We need to be more thorough in that. And we will have more on Robbie Hild on Monday. Anyways, guys, this is a good time to take a pause and read some of our sponsors. You guys love Riverbend Ranch. Their steaks are phenomenal. They really are just phenomenal.
Okay, guys, what do you think, guys? This is crazy, man. When I look at this, I don't know what to say, but it's crazy, man, right now. A lot of things happening. Okay, guys. We are going to skip it. Guys, if you have any opinion, just let me know in the comment section. I would like to know what you say, okay? Okay.
Okay, so it's looking like an operation, right? We are right now living through the JFK assassination. We weren't there for that. The majority of us weren't there for that. I wasn't there for that. But we wondered. We knew we were still being lied to about that assassination. And I just wondered, like AJ did, Aloud yesterday, did all of the homies of JFK just try to cover it up? I think the answer might be yes. I think he was surrounded. I think he was infiltrated. And then they got rid of him because of wrongthink. He had the wrong ideas that perhaps maybe every foreign nation should register under FARA. Anyways, how this works is that then you have to kind of put together like a Warren Commission, right? JFK, the Warren Commission, a complete and utter farce to pretend like the government's taking it seriously and investigating. Well, if Tyler Robinson's going to be our patsy, and I do want to be clear here, I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson is guilty of nothing. Right? It's his gun. There's weird stuff going on there. I don't believe he pulled the trigger. But if they're going to make that stick, then you got to have a lawyer that's working for the prosecution, right? Well, that's what's going on. Recently, Elizabeth Lane went on the Redacted podcast, and she discussed how the prosecutor is picking his opponent in the Tyler Robinson case. Take a listen to her explain that.
Investigative journalist Elizabeth Lane is not giving up on this story. She's been on the ground in Utah connecting the CIA dots, the three-letter agency dots and connections, and she joins us now. Elizabeth, great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, Clayton. I looked at Tyler Robinson's case and I thought, well, why don't I get this guy a lawyer? Because that at least puts me near him so I can understand and control the process. And this is times where they couldn't find the guy a lawyer and they were kind of scrambling around to figure out who was going to be his lawyer. And I started approaching different firms in Utah, trying to get him a lawyer for pro bono. So I walked up to one of the most reputable firms in Utah, and I asked them if they were willing to represent Tyler Robinson for pro bono case. And I was extremely surprised what I got from them. First and foremost, they were like, yes, we're absolutely on this because we don't believe that what happened to Charlie Kirk was remotely a case of just a single, crazy kid going up and shooting the guy in the neck. Like, we don't believe that. So we are more than willing to rate the Kirk was remotely a case of just a person for pro bono case. And I was extremely surprised what I got from them. First and foremost, they were like, yes, we're absolutely on this because we don't believe that what happened to Charlie Kirk was remotely a case of just a single, crazy kid going up and shooting the guy in the neck. Like, we don't believe that. So we are more than willing to represent him pro bono. So I was like, great. So we started the process. And what happened is we realized that we needed lawyers who are actually certified with death penalty. So their certifications didn't live up to that. But there's another interesting thing. When I did find a lawyer that was certified to represent Tyler Robinson, obviously I needed a consent from Robinson's family or Robinson himself, because he's actually not a minor. He can consent himself. Ironically, we were unable to get in touch with the parents because as a lawyer, you can't solicit clients. So it's illegal. So you can't just announce yourself that I'm going to represent Tyler Robinson. So I started doing that. So I got into this process and I asked my local lawyer firm, hey, what's the best way to go around here? Like, we need help to get the lawyer from New York who is certified to represent Tyler to get on the case. So he said, whatever you do, Elizabeth, do not get in touch with the firms in Utah that are the most powerful because they are in on it with the state. No matter what happens, they will take the side of the state. I did not listen to him. And I ended up calling one of the biggest firms in Utah just to ask for an advice. Like, what is the situation here? What can we do? They started screaming on the phone. And I was like, why do you even care? Like, you don't have a dog in this fight. Why are you so rude on the phone? So then I said, listen, there is a lawyer who's qualified and he's actually very famous in New York, wants to represent this kid. All I need is a consent from Tyler Robinson to do so. And we think that you can help. To this, I got a very rude response that only SCORDIS is allowed to find a representation for Tyler Robinson. So SCORDIS is a guy who's running as a state prosecutor. So here's the problem with that. State prosecutor cannot be responsible to find a lawyer for a defendant. That's illegal. So
right, that they're choosing their own opponent.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And this is something that I've been wondering about because it seems like an open and shut case for any defense attorney because the government has presented such a crap case unless his attorney is a shill.
Yes. So what I know is that SCORDIS is running as a state prosecutor. He's running. Everyone can look it up. It's on his website. So it's not quite illegal for him to find a lawyer for Tyler, but it would be illegal if he was a state prosecutor. But what it is, though, is highly unethical.
Highly unethical. And the reason why I wanted to show you that clip is because I've learned a lot over the last couple of years. And what I can tell you is that this gang that's running everything, okay, They also are controlling the courts. That's how you get a prosecution against somebody that makes no sense. And why do you do that? Because typically you're hiding government's crimes, right? You want people to stop looking. You want people to stop asking questions. You're not just asking questions. Yeah, no, we are implying here that everything you're telling us about the Tyler Robinson case makes no sense. But these people control the courts. And I got to tell you another thing. I want to be very clear. They even have figured out how to run a kangaroo court system, total kangaroo court system, where judges do not have to follow the law. Okay, Ian Carroll was on my show speaking about this, pertaining to Justin Bieber. It is a fact. Arbitration courts, so they get you to sign a contract and you agree. If you have an issue, go to arbitration court. Most people don't know what that means. It's a private court where the judge does not have to follow the law. They can just say you're guilty. And when you get to that level, there's usually a couple of reasons why they've got these players that work for the government and are willing to lie and cheat and steal. And it is because the government needs a prosecution, or you've pissed them off and they need a conviction against you because they're trying to bankrupt you. Okay. The corrupt cases, when you get really close to a truth, the government swoops in to try to bankrupt you. I am living proof of that. Never in the history of the world ever has there been a sitting leader of a foreign country that has sued a podcaster or a news member, even a journalist in a foreign country for defamation, okay? I am the first. It is because we are getting close to a lot of truth when it comes to Brigitte Macron, okay? And so now what they're doing is they're calling their cronies. Brigitte Macron has hired former federal prosecutors, and she's hiring a firm here. Why? Because the next option is Kansas and shut up, we're going to bankrupt her. These are the people that want you to believe they're successful in life organically. No. The entire system is rigged. It's rigged, okay? If you get too close to them and too powerful, usually suddenly a person gets inclined to commit suicide. We don't know why. And then suddenly there's a hostile takeover of their company, or, a random person shoots them, right? If there's any threat against them, it's either you're smeared, you are bankrupted, or you die in rather mysterious circumstances. So watch this, because you're learning the playbook. Everybody's waking up right now. You need to pay attention to this. This is another one of their mechanisms. They control the courts, and they will get whatever it is they need to get accomplished in the courts, whether it's bankruptcy or a conviction that makes literally no sense, as is going to be the case with Tyler Robinson. They're going to convict him. Right? They found their patsy. They're going to make it work, and they're going to keep threatening the rest of us for noticing that nothing makes sense at all. Anyways, further to that point, I had done, and if you have not watched it, you should jump into the Epstein series that we paused because this happened, where we talked about that, the hand of Midas, making these people executives. We're more successful because we're brighter. No, you're more successful because you're more corrupt. You're willing to lie, cheat, steal, and kill, actually, to get whatever it is that you want. And the Jeffrey Epstein story has all of those elements, right? And our government, I think actually it was the day that Charlie was killed, quietly voted. We're not going to actually release any Epstein files. Wow, how do they maneuver?
Wait.
And our government, I think actually it was the day that Charlie was killed, quietly voted. We're not going to actually release any Epstein files. Wow, how do they maneuver that? Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been very loud about how she is against that, as she has grown increasingly vocal. And she feels the need, as she did a couple of days ago, to publicly clarify that she is not suicidal. She wrote, "I am not suicidal, and I'm one of the happiest and healthiest people that you will meet. I have full faith in God, and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to stop the information from coming out. Not only about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking. The people understand what I am saying. Yes, we are the people, and we understand what you are saying. We understand why speak. Yes, we of the truth that I have been speaking." The people understand what I am saying. Yes, we are the people, and we understand what you are saying. We understand why speech is considered so dangerous, why the ADL creates a list that features people like Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and Candace Owens. Why speech is so dangerous is because if it carries truth, it speaks to power. And power is not truth. Power at this moment is a lie. It is a carefully woven lie everywhere, rigged against all of us. That is why I say the action that you can take, right? Don't feel hopeless. Understand they're actually panicking right now. What can you do in your household? Well, the first you can do is do not put your children in their matrix. Take your kids out of school. These sleeper cells are all across the nation, okay? And we're going to get into this next week. I wanted to make sure that I could get more thorough and show to you the Ukrainian connections that are coming across in this that are very strange, but I guess not so strange when you pay attention to the last shootings, trans shootings that have happened. The Catholic school shooting, the person was scribbling in their notebook recently, the shooter in Cyrillic. What's that about? What's that about? Why do we suddenly have Russian speakers that are involved in these sorts of things? We are looking at a program, and we're going to speak more about that because you have to understand it is dangerous what is happening right now. It's a dangerous game, and we're playing with dangerous people. And if it ever needed to be said, I am certainly not suicidal. I'm angry. I'm angry at people that are homicidal is really what's happening, and enough is enough. And if we are not brave enough to speak out, if we are not brave enough to take that action and to begin something as minor as homeschooling our kids, getting out of their system entirely, then our children are going to inherit a world in which the truly evil people have completely wrapped everything, right? They have wrapped everything and they control everything. It's up to us, guys, and I think we're close. So I'm going to leave that at that. Speak about a couple more sponsors before getting into some of your comments and questions that you have. I should have first let you know we did open another tips line because we are at max capacity. I want to remind you guys, if you have tips pertaining to Robbie, what took place, have tips pertaining to Robbie Hild, anything that we are saying about what took place on Orem on that day. Tips does not include, Candace, have you seen this theory? Watch this TikTok, please, guys. We are trying not to have our inbox cluttered because we want to get to all of these tips. A lot of information. Please email more tips at CandaceOwens.com. More tips at CandaceOwens.com if you have a tip pertaining to what took place on that day. First, want to throw it to 7 Weeks Coffee. You guys know I love
Guys, if you have any comment, let me know in the comment section, okay?
Owens. All right, you guys. Comment that I want to read from YouTube yesterday. It made me so happy. I also shared it on my Instagram. A little encouragement regarding homeschooling, because that is what I'm. They're trying everything.
Guys, are you actually sending your kids to school? If you are not sending them to school, then what have you done?
I think they're coming a little bit undone, that are lying and allowing this kids all day. Yes, do it while you then Mrs. Macron. I don't know about that. See you next week.
Okay, so this is it, guys. So let me check if Candace has any other stream or video that I've missed. Live stream. Okay, I reacted to all of these videos already, so kudos. And for you, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section, or which video should I react to, and I'll be happy to do that. And if you can, please listen to my song. I've just released a new single on my YouTube channel. This song is actually a battery operated pianist, this one.
This is your brain when you're
okay. I hope you guys enjoy it.
But getting in this
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Enjoy, guys. This is my little song, a battery operated pianist. Go, go. Old McDonald. Guys, if you have any question, any opinion on this song also, let me know in the comment section. Make sure to check out this song, Christopher Corinthian, Battery Operated Pianist. It's actually in the description also, my new song, Battery Operated Pianist. And you can see all my videos about this investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay, I hope to see you guys in the next one. If you have any question, make sure to comment down below, and I can't wait to see you all. God bless you all. Have a nice day. Happy Sunday. Have a blessed Sunday. And by the way, I'm going to be live streaming in 20 minutes. It's a DJ set. Okay, peace out, guys.